Rabotai, we are continuing on Masechet Berachot, and we are on Daf Samech Gimel Amud Bet 63b, by 11 lines down from the wide lines, and the limud of Amud Yomi from Chodesh Adar has been dedicated by Shab and Rabbi for health, happiness, and prosperity of their families. So anonymously, the yeshuot of those who need it. Today's learning also is dedicated by Roy Kimia, Leidun Nishmat. His grandfather's yortzeit is today, Yaakov ben Ephraim, that his neshama should have an aliyah. Amen.
Amen.
So we started the drasha and the pasuk of Hasket Ushma Yisrael, and says the Gemara, Hasket means asu kitot veisku b'Torah. This is what we started yesterday, that one should learn Torah bechabura. You should learn in groups, not sitting alone and learning Torah. Because Torah is not acquired for a person unless you're part of a group. You are doing it with other people. It's not just the positive peer pressure, but the Torah sharpens when you have the svarot going back, going forth together, learning with other people. That is how a understanding of Torah is acquired. It says the Gemara, Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Chanina. Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Chanina, what does it mean? The pasuk says cherev chas v'shalom. Sword should be on the badim. What's badim? Says the Gemara, cherev al sonehem shel talmidei chachamim. Sword should be to the sonehem shel talmidei chachamim. Euphemism. Sheyoshvim bad bebad ve'oskim b'Torah. That they sit alone and they learn Torah instead of learning it b'chabura, instead of learning it in a group. Not only that, not only they don't gain the understanding, the proper understanding of the Gemara, but they become a tipesh, they become a fool, because you can't really understand, you make mistakes. And not only that, the Gemara is going to say that once you make mistakes and you act upon your mistakes, you'll do sins, because you think something that's mutar is asur, something that's asur is mutar. So it goes south all the way from there. Says the Gemara, how do you know they become a tipesh? That over there, the word no'alnu is a reference to acting foolish. Not only that, but they go further, they act upon their foolishness and they are mistaken understanding of the Torah, and that will bring chet shenemar v'asher chatanu. Asher no'alnu v'asher chatanu. First starts with no'alnu, and then it becomes chatanu. Says the Gemara, ibait ema mehacha. Or I will tell you from this pasuk that says no'alu sareh, so on, the same wording of no'alu instead of no'alnu. So that's another source for the same concept. Says the Gemara, davar acher, another drasha from Hasket. This was one drasha in the word Hasket. Kitot, that's how we learned. Groups and groups learning Torah. Another warning says the Gemara, davar acher Hasket ushma Yisrael, kitetu atzmechem al divrei Torah, that you should not just learn Torah as a leisure, but kitetu atzmechem al divrei Torah. Work hard on divrei Torah if you want to be Shema Yisrael, if you want to listen, if you want to connect with the Torah. It has to be no bitoch achila v'shtiya. It has to be with real dedication. Yagati umatzati. Like we had the Gemara in Masechet Megillah Daf Vav, that the person has to work hard in order to find Torah. If a person comes and tells you, Lo yagati umatzati, I didn't work hard. Yigia means work, hard work. If someone tells you, Lo yagati umatzati, altami, don't believe it. There's no way you'll find real Torah without certain level of discomfort. We mentioned this also all the way back for those who remember in Daf Hey Masechet Berachot. We said, Shlosha matanot tovot natan HaKadosh Baruch Hu leYisrael v'kulan lo netanan ela al yedei yisurim. 3 good gifts Hashem gave to Klal Yisrael, and all of them are not acquired easily. Al yedei yisurim, you have to work hard, and one of them is Torah, of course. So says the Gemara, Kedamar Reish Lakish. Reish Lakish said, Damar Reish Lakish, minayin she'en divrei Torah mitkaymin ela b'mi shememit atzmo aleha. How do you know that Torah is only acquired for somebody that is willing to kill himself over it? Shenemar, as the pasuk says, Zot HaTorah, This is the Torah. How do you get it? Adam ki amut ba'ohel. A person that's willing to die ba'ohel. Ohel is ohalosh Torah. Just like it says, Yaakov Ishtam, Yoshev Ohalim. He was sitting in the Ohale Shem, Ohale Ever, in the yeshiva. Doesn't mean Yamut, doesn't mean necessarily you kill yourself, but this is your life. Someone said, Yamut means when you're learning Torah, you're like a dead person. Someone calls, tell him he's dead. Right? You don't exist. Your physical life is put on hold completely. It's as if you can't get any messages, you can't get any calls. I'm only learning Torah. That's the way you will acquire Torah. Says the Gemara. A third drasha. First be quiet and then grind. That means what? Like Rava Darshin, the Amar Rava, first learn the basics. First learn Bekiut, know the whole scope of learning, and then start Lamdut, then start deep understanding of learning Be'iyur. Like the Gemara says in Masech Shabbat in the name of Rabbi Akiva. Says the Gemara, Amr de Rabbi Yanai, he said in the Berachot of Rabbi Yanai, "My dichtiv ki mitz chalav yotzi chem'a, mitz af yotzi dam, mitz apayim yotzi riv." Very interesting, peculiar pasuk. Ki mitz chalav yotzi chem'a. The juice of chalav is going to bring out about butter, and mitz af is going to be the outcome, the juice, the extraction of anger is going to be blood, and that of apayim, two angers, is going to be a fight. What does that mean? Who do you find that has chem'a shel Torah, the cream of the crop of Torah, the best part of Torah? That means he's magia lehora'ah. He is a person that could get to the top level of paskening halachot. Says the Gemara, for someone that's willing to, bring out the essence of their body, as though to say poetically, the milk that they had as a baby, they're willing to bring out on that. That's the chem'a shel Torah. Working hard, again, the same theme. What does that mean? A student that his Rebbe gets angry with him because he's asking questions, he's too meticulous about learning, and at some point you drive the Rebbe crazy and he starts yelling at him. Pam Rishona, one time, the shotek, and he is quiet, he doesn't check out, he doesn't run away to a different yeshiva, he's okay with it. So okay, this is what, lo abai shan lamed. If you're embarrassed, you're too concerned about your image, you'll never learn. Says the Gemara, that Talmid, that student, he will understand the depth of halachot of Yoreh De'ah in Dam Nida and so on. When it's twice, it's not af, but apayim, it's double. Says the Gemara, called Talmid shekoes alav rabo pam rishona v'sheniya. If it happens again, we're not talking about the case that he is trying to get the rabbi angry, but he's trying to understand, and he's not embarrassed to ask and to examine and to go back and again and again. The shotek, and he's quiet. Says the Gemara, he will get the heights, the highest of understanding Torah, which is the depth of Torah is Choshen Mishpat, Dinei Nezikin, ben Dinei Mamonot, and Dinei Nefashot. Ditran, how do we know that this is the depth of Torah? Rabbi Ishmael Omer harotzeh sheitchakem yasok b'dinei mamonot. If you want to become a chacham, you will go and learn Choshen Mishpat, Dinei Mamonot, she'en lecha miktzua b'Torah yoter mehen. That you don't have the deeper, sophisticated miktzua in Torah from Dinei Mamonot. This is something that we discussed in Gemara in Baba Kama Daf Lamed as well, that one of the three things of how, a person that wants to become a chassid, you want to do something very complex, is Dinei Mamonot, Dinei Nezikin. Seder Nezikin. Says the Gemara, it's like a strong spring of water that it's pumping out new things, new depth every moment. Never ending. Amar b'Shmuel bar Nachmani, my tichtiv im navalta b'itnaseh v'im zamot hayad apeh. Rav Shlomo bar Nachmani said, what's the pasuk that says im navalta b'itnaseh? If you become a nevela, then you will go up. V'im zamota, and if you keep quiet, you'll be hand to the mouth. What does that mean? Says the Gemara, if you are not concerned about your image and you are learning Torah, regardless of how it seems to people, to the onlooker, when you ask questions and you sound like a fool that didn't understand the issue, you ask and you clarify. If you did that in the process of learning, you will go up and up and up. But if you were concerned about your image and you were quiet when you didn't understand something, in future, when they ask you a question, you would be like, you won't know the answer. Says the Gemara. So for the itnaseh, if you're menabel asmal divrei Torah, you will go up. Ve'im zamam, if you kept quiet, then yad lapeh. Patach Rabbi Nechemya b'chvod achsanya. This is, again, remember, we're in the middle of this presentation of the Tanaim in Kerem ve'Yavneh, in the Yeshiva of Yavneh, with all the Baalei Batim, all the Talmidei Chachamim. So we mentioned that others, aside from Rabbi Yehuda, also gave a presentation. This is another one. Rabbi Nechemya started b'chvod achsanya, in the respect, the kavod of the host, v'darash, and he darshed. My dichtiv bayom Shaul et hakeni lechu suru redu mitoch Amaleki. This is the ultimate shtichut, the job that Shaul got, which really at the end ended up ending his kingdom, to go and obliterate Amalek. And in the beginning, Shaul says to the sons of Yitro, who were residing next to Amalek, he says, go out, I want you to fight and destroy Amalek. I don't want you to get destroyed a long way. So he had Rahmanut to give them heads up and to let them go out and not be killed with the Amaleki. So says the Gemara, you, the sons of Yitro, did chesed with Bnei Yisrael, and therefore I will let you live. And the Gemara says he darshined. Again, this is Rabbi Nechemya darshining the kavod of the host. Isn't it the kal vachomer? My Yitro shelo karav et Moshe ela lichvod atzmo. Yitro only drew close Moshe to himself because of his own kavod. Moshe was on top of the world, and Yitro felt bechavedik to be the father-in-law of the king. So, and that the pasuk calls it the chesed. So you did chesed with Bnei Yisrael. Imagine what happens with someone that brings in an anonymous Talmid Chacham. He gives him to eat, he gives him to drink, he provides for him. Imagine what that is called in the eyes of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that you're doing chesed in Klal Yisrael. Patach Rabbi Yossi b'chvod achsanya. Another drasha. This time Rabbi Yossi. Lo tetahev adomi. The pasuk says, do not disgrace, don't hate an Edomi, ki achicha, because your brother, you're related. Lo tetahev mitzri, geraita v'arto. Don't disgrace and don't hate a Mitzri, an Egyptian, because you were a ger, you lived in Mitzrayim. Meaning, today, thousands of years later, don't hate a Mitzri because once upon a time you lived there. And you have to have hakarat tov. Says Rabbi Yossi. Can you imagine what that means? Think about this. Mitzrayim only brought the Jews into their service for their own selfish reasons. Even the way it started before the whole slavery, Paro tells Yosef, oh, I see your strong brothers. I see what a genius you are, how capable you are. If you have other brothers and siblings that are like you, bring them in. So they wanted to do it for kavod atzman. Says the Gemara, "V'samtam saleh mikneh ala shervi, kacha me'areach talmid chacham betoch beto u'ma'achilo mashkehu u'ma'aneu minechasav alachat kama v'chama." You can imagine someone that brings the talmid chacham not for selfish reasons, but for respecting Torah, for respecting Hashem. What is that called? An eternal hakarat tov to that family, that the Torah comes back to the achsanya shelo. He goes back to his post. Says the Gemara, Patach Rabbi Eliezer, beno shel Rabbi Yossi HaGalili, b'chvod ha'achsanya. Another drasha from Rabbi Eliezer, the son of Rabbi Yossi HaGalili. He darshened from the pasuk about the Aaron and David HaMelech. Vayvarech Hashem et Oved Edom HaGiti ba'avur Aaron HaElokim. The story, the backdrop of the story we mentioned recently, actually, that when the Aaron was taken captive to the Philistines, the Plishtim, he went around, and every place that the Plishtim kept the Aaron, tremendous plagues came upon them. At the end, they put a new agala. They said, Chazak Baruch, go back. So he went, and the cows took the agala with the Aaron to this place. So Oved Edom HaGiti posted the Aaron in his house. David HaMelech was scared. He said, maybe Hashem is upset. Maybe Hashem wants it to be there for us and leave it there. Until Pasuk says everyone saw that the household of this person was blessed, clearly blessed. As you can find, it's time to, Hashem is happy, time to take it now to its rightful place. So what happened with this Oved Edom HaGiti? Says the Gemara, the Aaron did not eat, did not drink, did not have any expenses. You host the Aaron in your house. What do? You just clean up in front of it and so. And a kibet very best, you just have to clean in front of it. Now imagine if you have a living Sefer Torah, a living Aaron, but you're supporting them with food and with drinks and mehaneu menechasav, other things. Can you imagine the bracha that the person will have? Says the Gemara. What was the bracha that Oved Edom HaGiti got? Says the Gemara. Amar Rabbi Yehuda bar Svida. Zuchamot vechet kalota. This is the mother-in-law and 8 daughter-in-laws of hers. Sheyaldu shisha bekeres echad. All of them had 6 tablets. In other words, this is the wife, Mrs. Oved Edom HaGiti, and his 8 sons' wives, that they all gave birth to 6 tablets. How do we know that? Right? This, by the way, is considered, it's not time for it for discussing it right now, but we hear this same exact bracha for the Jews in Mitzrayim, right? That they had all of them, they had shisha bekeres echad. Why that's considered the utmost bracha for a different time. But it says the Gemara, shenemar, because the pasuk enumerates in Divrei Yamim the sons of Oved Edom HaGiti, 8 of them, and the pasuk says, Amiel Shishi, Yisachar Shvi'i. The 6th one was this name, the 7th one was this name, and Peultai was the 8th one. That Hashem blessed him. So he had 8 sons. Himself and his sons are 9, right? Now, if 9 people have 6 tablets, there was some backup envelope arithmetics. How many do you end up with? 54, right? Now keep that number because the Gemara is going to come back to it in a moment. Says the Gemara, Uchtiv, right afterwards he says, and then it says, Kol ele mi bnei Oved Edom, all of these sons and grandsons of Oved Edom, hema ubnehem, v'achehem ish chayil bekoach la'avodah 62. All of them together were 62. So says the Gemara, how does it work that there are 62? Is because you add the 54 with the 8, the sons of Oved were 8, but he had also 54 other ones that the pasuk doesn't count. Well, where does the 54 come from? Says the Gemara, from this incident, and this is really in the first 3 months that the Aaron was there. It was just a pregnancy. It came out at the end that it was 6 and so on and so forth. This is what we talked about over here, not for now. Says the Gemara, Amar Rav Avina Levi, Rav Avina Levi Darshin, Kol hadochek et hasha'ah sha'ah dochakto. Any person that pushes the time, he will be pushed away by the time. In other words, if you try to be successful in something and you see it's not working, and you push it, but don't push it. Because if you push it, you'll be pushed away by the time. The wheel of the time sometimes breaks the attempts. You have to wait for it. And says the Gemara, the reverse also is correct. When you see that the time is pushing you away, if you wait for it and don't push, there will be a time for you that you will push and you will succeed. And the Gemara gives an example. Midrabba Rav Yosef. We see this clearly from a story of Rabbi and Rav Yosef. We've mentioned numerous times that Rabbi and Rav Yosef were peers. And says the Gemara that Rav Yosef Sinai Rabba Okerarim. They were very different in their method and capability of learning. Rabba was a very deep understanding, a sophisticated mind. We'll call him an Okerarim. He would uproot the mountain. And Rav Yosef was a Sinai, just like Torah came from Sinai, a clear information. He was a source of information. He knew everything. He was a baki in everything. Rabba was not a baki in everything, but every piece of information you gave him, he would grind it to the smallest piece. He was a tremendously sharp mind. So who becomes the Rosh Yeshiva? The previous Rosh Yeshiva passed away. Which one of these two is fit more for being a Rosh Yeshiva? What do you say? They asked that this was not an easy thing. We spoke about this in Bet Hillel, Bet Shammai. The Bet Shammai were more sharp. Says the Gemara, Estricha lo shaita. They were standing in a situation that one of them had to become the Rosh Yeshiva. They sent to Eretz Yisrael this question. They said, Sinai v'Okerarim, eze mehem kodem. We have a Sinai, we have an Okerarim. Which one of them should become the Rosh Yeshiva? And they sent from Eretz Yisrael a clear-cut answer. Sinai kodem. Rabbi Yosef is the one that should become the Rosh Yeshiva. Everyone needs halacha psuka. You need someone that knows all the shmuot, all the halachot. He knows all the aspects of Torah, even if he's not as deep as the other person, as sophisticated as the other person, but at least he knows all the halachot. Says the Gemara, Afar Bikin, with all of this that they asked and came a clear psak from Eretz Yisrael, look, Ibn Allah Rabbi Yosef. Rabbi Yosef rejected becoming the Rosh Yeshiva. Why? The Amri Lekaldai, because the astrologist that told him that you will have 2 years of malchut, 2 years of leadership. So he said, well, if I become a Rosh Yeshiva right now, it will be 2 years and then I'll die. I don't want, you go first, right? So it says, the Gemara, this is what we're asking this now. We've spoken about this before, and also the Gemara in Shabbat speaks about this. The mothers of some of the great names in Amoraim, they relied on certain things. We've spoken about this of a person really could rely, and when you can, when you cannot. This is a long discussion that we've had once, and it's not something that's not going to come up again. It's going to come up again, but it's a short time right now. We will do what we do when we go on. Says the Gemara. So they told him, that was late by at some point, maybe after see you. Maybe actually, maybe no, it's good. It's good. I'm not yelling at you. Maybe the winning team will have a shiur on astrology and halakha. Okay, there we go. So says the Gemara. What happened was he rejected it. So Rabba became the Rosh Yeshiva. Malach Rabba esrin v'tarten sheni. He was the Rosh Yeshiva for 22 years. And then afterwards, he passed away. Rabbi Yosef became Rosh Yeshiva, guess for how many years? 2.5 years, right? Tartin, Shidin, Upalga. Kol anach shidin de Malach Rabba, and all of he wanted to make sure he does not take any srara, any kavod of any sort, just because everyone knew that he was supposed to be the Rosh Yeshiva and so on. He did not take any kavod of any sort. What he did was, afilu umana lebetelo kara. When he needed to be checked by a doctor, he didn't even call a house call. He would go to the doctor to show that he's completely not taking any of the kavod of a Rosh Yeshiva. Ve'amar Rav Avin Halevi, my dichtiv, what does it say? What does it mean when it says, Yarcha Hashem b'yom tzara yisakef Hashem Elokei Yaakov? Now Hashem should answer you in a day of difficulty. Yisakef Hashem Elokei Yaakov. Elokei Yaakov will strengthen you. Why Elokei Yaakov? What happened with Abraham and Yitzchak? You're jumping the gun. V'lo Elokei Abraham v'Yitzchak. Says the Gemara, Mikan leBaal HaKorah sheikanes be'ovyah shel Korah. You learn derech eretz from here that when you ask for help from other people, but it is your thing. If you're the Baal HaKorah, you're the person that wants to carry this heavy lumber, and other people are helping you, you'll go pick up the heaviest part of it. Because at the end of the day, it's your responsibility. So here also, Yaakov Avinu, Klal Yisrael are his children. Abraham had other children. Yitzchak had other children. But Yaakov, this is Klal Yisrael, is all his sons. So therefore, he takes more responsibility, so to speak. His chuyot have to stand for Klal Yisrael. Says the Gemara, Ve'amar Rab Avin Halevi, any person that benefits from a Suudah that the Talmid Chacham is present there, it's tantamount of benefiting from Ziv HaShekhinah, from the light of Shekhinah. How do we know that? It says, that Aaron and Ziknei Israel came. This is when Yitro comes and meets up with Moshe Rabbeinu, and they have a Suudah together. Says all of this Ziknei Israel, Aaron came to eat bread, to break bread with Choten Moshe with Yitro Lifnei HaElokim, in front of Hashem. Says, well, wait a second. They ate in the Mishkan. What do you mean Lifnei Elokim? Moshe was the one that threw the Seudah, right? Is teaching you once Moshe is there, once you have a Talmid Chacham there, today is your side, right? When you have a Seudah that Moshe Rabbeinu is there, it's tantamount of benefiting from Ziv HaShekhinah, because again, is a walking Sefer Torah, is the Ziv HaShekhinah walking through a Talmid Chacham. Says the Gemara, V'amar, Rav Avin Halevi, Haniftar mechavero, a person that separates from his friend, that he's going away, they're parting ways. Al yomar lo lech beshalom. This is some grammatical correctness. That don't say lech beshalom, and lech leshalom. What's the difference in grammar? Lech leshalom means go for shalom. That means you're going up and up in shalom, right? You're going to grow. You're going to become better and better. Lech beshalom means you have reached the final destination, so to speak, right? It's beshalom, it's not leshalom. Says the Gemara, you see the outcome of this in two different parts in Tanakh, in the Psukim. Speaking about Moshe, when they part ways with Yitro, what did Yitro tell Moshe? He says to him, Lech leshalom. They have the discussion of him joining, him not joining, and so on. And the pasuk says, Vayelech Moshe vayashov el yeter chotno, vayomer lo el chana v'ashuva el achai. He's appointed to go save the Jews in Mitzrayim by the burning bush, and he goes to get permission from Yitro, and Yitro tells him, go, geh gesund, lech leshalom. And he went and he became Moshiach Shel Yisrael. Look at what Moshe Rabbeinu became after this parting way with Yitro. On the other hand, says the Gemara, Alav Yitzliach, David Shamar lo Avshalom. David, when he ended his last meeting with Avshalom, right before Avshalom rebelled against David HaMelech, he told him, Lech beshalom, which the pasuk says, Vayomer lo HaMelech, Lech beshalom, vayakom vayelech. Chevrona, that's the last time they saw each other, and then he broke away, basically, he rebelled, and we know what the end of that was. He was speared and killed. We mentioned this before, that even though, despite the fact that David HaMelech did not want people to kill Avshalom, he loved his son, even though that he violated his whole malchut, he wanted to kill him. He almost was successfully, delivering the entire revolt. He took Yerushalayim. He took the majority of the Sanhedrin and the army with him. He captured Yerushalayim. He captured the capital and the palace of David HaMelech. He openly, on the balcony of the palace, violated the wives of David. It was horrifying. But Avshalom was still, David HaMelech loved him. He said, if you see the kid, well, don't kill him. But of course, Yoav and Surya did not listen. And when Avshalom was a Nazir, he was the most handsome individual in the entire nation. And the pasuk speaks about him. Whenever he had his the Nazir, even though that he was Nazir Olam, he had heavy, thick hair to the ground, and there are heterim to lighten it and so on and so forth. He was riding on a horse, running away, and his beautiful thick hair that he had so much gava from, it got stuck to the branches of a tree, and the horse went underneath him, and he got hanging basically in the middle of the air and stuck basically until Yoav came and he killed him. So that's the end of Avshalom when he was told Lech Beshalom. Sefer Gemara says, don't say, be careful, don't say Lech Beshalom, say Lech Beshalom, just like Yitro told Moshe Rabbeinu. Amar Rav Abin HaLevi, another teaching from Rav Abin HaLevi, Haniftar min hamet, al yomar lo lech leshalom. That's only for living people. But when a person says the final goodbye to someone that has passed away before the funeral, then you don't say lech leshalom, ela lech beshalom. Shenemar, that's also learned from a pasuk, v'ata tavo el avotecha beshalom, that for a person at the end, the last stop, so to speak, in life, that would be beshalom. It's not leshalom. It's not going up anymore. It is stationary. It's staying in the same way. So you say lech beshalom. Amar Rav Levi Bar Chiya. Rav Levi Bar Chiya taught hayotze mi bet hakneset v'nichnas lebet hamidrash. A person that goes out from bet knesset and he enters bet midrash ve'osek b'torah. That means he goes from Michayil and Chayil. He goes from one aspect of Avodat Hashem, from Avodah to Torah, right? Shlosha dvarim ha'olam omed, right? The Torah v'Avodah v'Gemilut Chesed. This is from one to another one. You go to Daven, and then you don't stop that. Just as Avodat Hashem like that. You go from the Bet Knesset to the Bet Midrash. Ve'osek b'Torah, and you learn Torah. Zocheh u'mkabel pnei Shekhinah. The Shekhinah of Hashem would rest upon him. Shenemar yelchu mechayil el chayil. You go from strength to strength, from one chayil to another chayil. Yira'eh el Elokim b'Sion. You'll see Hashem. That means the Shekhinah of Hashem will rest upon you. Amar Reb Chia bar Ashi Amar Rav. Reb Chia bar Ashi said in the name of Rav, Talmidei Chachamim en lahem menucha lo b'olam hazeh v'lo b'olam haba. Talmidei Chachamim don't have menucha, not in this world, not in the next world. They're always going up. They're always active. A person that is stagnant, a person that's not growing, that's not the definition of a Talmid Chacham. Talmid Chacham, by definition, is called a Talmid Chacham. Why not a Chacham? Why Talmid Chacham? Have you ever thought about this? Because you're always learning. Mikol menamedai iskalti. Right? The mindset of growth is the core definition of a Talmid Chacham. And that does not end by the physical end of life, because even in Olam Haba, they're going up and up every moment. This the Ramchal explains this, how the mechanism of this works, not for now necessarily, but even a person that is no longer in the guf still is being judged and still is going up based on the skuyot that they have. They're going to be still learning in yeshiva shel mala, so to speak, and therefore elai menucha, they're not nach. They're not noach, they're not stationary, they're not stagnant, not in this world and not in the next. Again, this is I was speaking to a group of elderly from Jews, and this is retirement and on. So I told them, well, what's retired? That means you have a truck, you have tires, you go 40,000 miles, the tires are gone, so you retire and you keep trucking, right? There's no waiting in the waiting room of God, as what my friend's grandmother told him. So I'm just waiting for him to take me. There's no such a thing. Even when you're retired, you're hitting it. It's a different things that you couldn't do when you were younger, and now you're pushing the limits. You're trying to keep trucking, so to speak. And that is the mindset of a growing person. That's the mindset of a Talmid Chacham. Says the Gemara, Amar, the famous Gemara, Amar Rabbi Azar, Amar Michanina. Talmidei Chachamim marbim shalom ba'olam. Talmidei Chachamim increase peace, the world peace. Marbim shalom ba'olam. Shenevar, as it says, v'chol banaich limudei Hashem v'rav shalom banaich. This is a Gemara we're going to speak about in the Siyum Bez of Hashem tonight. That kol banaich limudei Hashem V'rav shalom banaich, al tikre banaich ela bonaich. Don't call them banaich ela bonaich. Don't call them your sons, but your builders. Shalom Rav lo ohavei toratecha, and there's tremendous shalom for ohavei toratecha, for those who love your Torah. Ve'en lamo michshol, and they won't have any michshol. Yehi shalom bechelech, shalva be'armenotayich. There will be shalom in your peace, shalva in your residing place. Le'ma'an achai v're'ai adaberana shalom bach. Le'ma'an bet Hashem Elokenu avakesha tov lach. Hashem oz lavo yiten. Hashem yivarech et ahu b'shalom. And this is the end of the Gemara that basically says the Torah brings, not just, we spoke about the whole past Amud, about the greatness of Torah and how it brings bracha in different aspects. Patach Rabbi Yehuda b'chvod Torah, and all the other Tanaim who were poteach b'chvod ha'achsanya. But the core element of it is that the concept of bracha exists in the world through the Torah. There is a beautiful Ramchal in Derech Hashem, I think it's in Chelek Dalet Perek Bet, that he says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world. He created the world with a certain shefa, certain spiritual energy that created the whole world. And after the creation, where is that shefa? So says the Ramchal, Hashem tied that shefa as a davar skuli. It's like a skula. You do this, you get this. As a davar skuli, Hashem tied this shefa of the creation itself to one of the Taryag mitzvot. What mitzvah is that? The mitzvah of Talmud Torah. And we say, Hashem recreates the world every moment. Every moment. We have explained this before, the difference between Bria and Asiyah, or Yetzirah. Bria is Yesh Me'ayin. If I have Yesh Me'yesh, I take a material and I form it, I take plastic, I make this table from it. This table no longer needs me. It could outlive me. But if I make something Yesh Me'ayin, which only Hashem could do, the very existence of this thing depends on the Creator. Every moment, if Hashem's hashgacha would be taken off of this, right now, it would just vanish. It would not exist. So every second it exists needs that shefa. Who brings that shefa in the world? When you learn Torah, you're pulling that shefa. Therefore, it says, if it wasn't because of my Torah, the whole world would go back to the pre-creation, to tohu vavohu. It's the zchut of the Torah. It's a zchut to be learning the Chabura like this. B'ezrat Hashem, and Mazal Tov to everyone. And we'll see every one of you, B'ezrat Hashem, tonight. Tonight at 7:30, B'ezrat Hashem, and we're going to have a beautiful program scheduled. Please bring your friends and take some time to call people who could be joining the learning and dedicating their lifestyle to Kadosh Baruch Hu. It shouldn't be kept to ourselves. It should be spread the light of Torah to the whole community. We'll have a little dancing here.